if there are some bugs left over, we'll get them sorted out pretty fast.
Oh, I'm pretty sure.
All right. Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. This is a live market analysis for December 11th. I got the United States Canadian dollar on here because I just want to share with you a little bit of what we can expect here over the next little while. This particular chart, now Forex is where I get most of my experience from, and so my technical analysis is a little bit more helpful here than in cryptos. Cryptos, really swing trading is the only thing that I've found to have some consistency. With currencies, it's trend trading. That's what I do. And so with currencies, the analysis that I give in crypto is still very, very, very similar. We've had for a long time, for 3 years, a steady incline here. But as you can see, that this spike here in the middle of 2022, the Canadian dollar lost a lot of value against the US dollar. And it went up quite a ways really fast. But you can see lots of resistance at that point ever since. But we've broken out here over the last few weeks. And I expect, because as the economies are now looking like they're going to be going in different directions, this is likely going to increase. So it's something to keep in mind. It's not crucial, like it's not life changing or anything like that, but it's something to keep in mind as you're looking at a lot of these balances and as we're doing a lot of reporting in USD. We are likely going to see a pretty good spike here in the Canadian dollar, in its loss of value against the U.S. dollar. So something to keep in mind. We're going to go through charts fairly quickly again today, and we're going to be covering. Yeah, let's cover silver here. So
So
silver has been hanging out. Oh yeah,
I
yeah.
kind of want
You
to
go ahead.
ask about that because I do some trading, like not trading, as in buy products and stuff from the US. And I've
Yeah.
noticed that it's really bad to buy products from the US.
It's
Is
going to
that
get
just going to
worse.
get worse?
Yep. Yep. It's going to get worse. Yeah. Unfortunately, um, yeah. USD CAD. Yeah, it's going to get worse. Unfortunately, I would expect, to be honest, look at the resistance that we're at right now, over here, and there's not really much holding it back from getting up to here. Well,
Mhm.
that's 146. From 141, so $1.41 to 146. That's already 3%, and there's not any resistance holding it back from getting up that far. I don't know what the all time is. Let's go to a weekly chart here. Oh yeah, so back in '02, it was definitely worse. I remember that coming out of university. Um, yeah, so after that, look at that. There's not much resistance there either, is there?
Mm.
From this point up to the top, there's really just the one more at
So what does that
150.
mean for Canadians then?
It means
To
that
know?
everything is going to get more expensive. And same with the tariffs, right? Like Trump threatens to do tariffs. Well, that's going to make more things more expensive. And it's a very, very strategic economic warfare, is what it is.
So
Because
what can
Canada, what's that?
go ahead?
Well, it's because the reason why this is happening and the reason why this warfare is so effective is because in the Articles of Incorporation for the District of Columbia, Washington D.C., because Washington D.C. is its own city. It's actually its own country. Did you know that? It's not part of the United States of America. It's actually its own independent sovereign nation. And Americans, in their delusion, they vote for that foreign entity, and the president of that foreign entity is known as POTUS, President of the United States. So it's a fake. It's an invasion, is what it is. It's a foreign country that has usurped the republic. And in the Articles of Incorporation for the corporation, known as the District of Columbia, Washington, D.C., Canada is actually that all of Canadian finance is under the jurisdiction of the District of Columbia. So anything to do with finance in Canada is actually the responsibility of the corporation of the District of Columbia, which is located in Washington, D.C., as a foreign nation. So we actually have a foreign nation manipulating, basically dictating the price. So when Trump says that he's going to do something to Canada, it sounds like, I know that it's easy to think, oh, the economy's in the shitter anyway, so he's not really saying anything new that we didn't already know. Except what he is saying is he's saying, well, we dictate your finances, and so we can do whatever the heck we want to it. And in order to get Canada to scream and cry and plead for a government solution to the problem that government created, they're going to want to, in order to get the people to get desperate, the United States is going to launch this economic warfare into high gear. It's been going on forever, like ever since the Canadian dollar was issued in, well, actually it started in the 30s, is when it got annexed yeah, that's when it got annexed. The Dominion of Canada was annexed at around that time. And so ever since then, the Canadian dollar has actually been under the jurisdiction, and its value has been under the jurisdiction of Washington, D.C.
Mm.
So this is how wars get fought when they don't want to throw bombs at each other.
So a short answer, what can we as Canadians do to get out of this nut house?
In NDAX, you can exchange Canadian dollars for US dollars. So I would just hold US dollars in NDAX, to be honest.
But can we get like out of others? Like, isn't it not good to have the US dollars either?
Well, I mean, for fiat, right? So what I'm saying is, like, let's say for instance you've got to pay rent in 2 weeks, right? Well, if you're going to pay rent in 2 weeks, put it in US dollars, because in 2 weeks that rent will go down. I'll give you another example. This actually just happened last week. I went on a date, and I went for dinner, and it was $150 or something like that for two steaks and 2 steak dinners, an appetizer, 2 glasses of wine, right? So $150. But the thing is that I didn't take out of my Canadian account to do that. See, what we've been doing this whole time is actually been putting money into assets that have been going up, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when I first put the money that I used to pay for dinner, when I first put that money in, it was down in here. Like, it was June, yeah. Or no, well, August probably. So as an example, I pulled from my trading efforts. So I'm just going to use this as an example. Here's ADA at 31 cents. Okay. So I put in, a bunch of money in here. And since that time, I'm going to go to the daily chart. Here we go. Here's October. Oh, wait, I wanted June. Here's June-ish. So here's June. It was at 39 cents. And it went up, and I went for dinner, I don't know, somewhere around here. So it went up 194%. What does that mean? It means that dinner cost me $50, because the $50 I put in here turned into 150 over here. So in the same way, if you plan on having Canadian expenses and you need to have access to fiat, quick access to fiat, I would just hold the US dollar, because, going back to that, because what's going to happen is that if you say put in the amount you need for rent right now, it's $1,000. You're going to put the rent in that you need now, So rent is $1,000. Put it in now and turn it into US dollars now, because a month from now you will save you'll save 2% off of your rent, because it's in US, because it's denominated in US dollars and the Canadian dollar is dropping. So again, remember, this is always about put your money where it's going. Don't put your money where it is now. If you've got to pay rent, if you've got bills coming up, start putting it into US dollars. And again, like I say, in NDAX and most of these exchanges do allow you to trade between Canadian and US dollar. And so that's what I would recommend. And in the same way, plan for more long-term things, like say 2-3 months in advance. Plan that maybe with Ethereum or Bitcoin or ADA, Injective Token. These ones are going to be going up as well. And hello, Jennifer. I'll add you. There you go. When we were just talking about, well, I went for dinner there last week, Friday, and it was $150. Well, to pay that $150, I paid it out of my trust, but I put the money in a long time ago. And so the example that I gave was, I bought around, I made some investments around here, like 39 cents. It was in the middle of June, actually. So yeah, so around here, 40 cents. And the price went up, 200%, 190% or so. Well, dinner cost $150 here, right? But I put the money in over here. So dinner only cost me $50, right? So same idea. We're just talking about the US dollar and how the Canadian dollar is about to experience some major volatility in a bad way. Meaning the amount you need, the amount of Canadian dollars you need to make one US dollar is going up, and it's going up at a very rapid rate right now. And we don't have a whole lot of resistance taking us to the most previous high. And then beyond that, we actually have even a higher high over here that doesn't have much resistance either. There's a little bit at $1.50, but not much. We're going to see this really go bad here over the next little while, simply because it's it goes back to the warfare, economic warfare that is being inflicted on Canada by the US. And I have a suspicion that it's because Canada is actually, all finances for the Dominion of Canada are actually governed by Washington, D.C. And I'm not going to go through explaining that again. But in essence, because we don't have our own country, the currency is at the whim of the states. They can just dictate whatever it needs to be in order to benefit them most. Well, it benefits them right now to cripple Canadians, because what they're wanting, remember the predictive programming thing, right? They just talked about it last week, how Canada could be the 51st state. Well, it already is, folks. Like, stop pretending like it could happen and start realizing, wake up to the delusion and start realizing that that's the way it already is. And recognize that the Canadian dollar is only going to lose its value now because the United States, the District of Columbia, it has in its best interests to get people like Canadians to scream and cry and complain and look for a political solution. It's within the best interests of our mortal enemy that they cripple our economy to incentivize the people to jump onto the next financial system. And, the states are going to experience inflation as well, obviously, but we're going to experience it at a worse rate. So, if you've got expenses that you need to put into effect in Canada, you may want to put those expenses into US dollars. And then, the day that you need it to pay the bill, you transfer out of that US account into your Canadian account. And then that way, you don't lose as much value against the Canadian dollar, right? So you're actually going to get ahead, because if this goes up to, right now it's $1.41. If this goes up to $1.50, that's a 5% raise, a 5% increase in price on your rent. But if you put it in US dollars, you will likely stay ahead of this, right? And save 5% on your rent, which if it's $1,000, you're saving $50 off your rent now. Again, that's a simplistic way to talk about putting your money where it should go, in the direction of the flow. Does that help answer? Does that, I know again, I get kind of long-winded with my answers, but I want to make sure that it's accurate and
Oh yeah,
thorough.
that's very thorough. Thanks.
Okay, yeah, awesome. Gold and silver, yeah. So silver, after the rally that it had there a couple days ago, after the crypto crash, whatever that is, we've been hanging out. Same thing with gold. Actually, it's been still increasing. So this, yeah, we might actually find some resistance here. This level here is at the 2,700. Yeah, 2,700. It's at 2,700 right now. Right there. We're at 2,700 right now. So that's that's happening. US 30 has been declining since the all-time high created there last week. The crypto 30, it's actually been recovering fairly well. If we take a look at the 2-hour chart, we can see that after the big drop there, now we're starting to come back up, finding we're beat out this high here now. So I would expect that this little pullback that we've experienced this week is likely over. Bitcoin also showing a new high here. Ethereum, isn't that interesting, eh? I figured it would go up to 105 to 110 and then come down. But I would say that this drop here might be all I don't know. It's hard to say. I would like to see a 20-30% drop in Bitcoin before I see where it would be 20%. Yeah, so 20% would be down here at 81. 30% would be down at 75 in that area. Well, 30% actually goes down to 72, but that's a far ways down. It might come down this far, but at the same time, we're already seeing wallets load up for the next run, and big wallets, especially on those ETFs. Ethereum ETFs just doubled in the last few days. So institutions are going in. So that might be all the retracement we get. Here's ADA also creating a new high since that bounce down here. It's climbing up, folks. So if you were looking at getting some on the dip, you're already missing 18% of your opportunity. Well, I shouldn't say that. Nobody ever gets it right at the bottom, but it's already gone up 18% from the bottom. That's a long ways. Solana, same idea. So what we're looking at here today, the general temperance of the market, the general barometer is showing that we are done this little dip here, and it's time to come back up. I got to go fairly fast today because I've got to get some winter studs on my tire, studded winter tires on, because things get pretty crazy out here in Rocky. So WooCommerce, I always just automatically WooCommerce. It's not. Oh, look at that. 3 Protocol actually made a big dip. Let's talk about this here for a second. This was doing very well, hanging out inside this consolidation zone. But sure enough, yesterday it dipped below, and today already nice big retracement down to 5.7 cents. That's a great place to buy. Oh my gosh. Like every single time it goes down, just keeps on getting better and better. Still, projects in the game. Nothing's going away anywhere. Community's doing awesome. They're happy. So we can likely see this. We can likely see this continue to go up. Woo is, after that breakout that we had, it seems to be settling above this support here at 25 cents. So we can probably watch, 25 cents. So we can probably watch that bounce off of this, especially with this new high here. This one beat out these two highs. So it's doing really well. Bit tensor after the drop there. It's been kind of bouncing around. Let's go back to the 2-hour chart so we can see. Yeah, so we can see it's been consolidating. Fetch, no new highs yet, but certainly only, I would say it's because it's going to be a layer, it's a layer 2 coin. Desync, been consolidating. 0 by 0, same idea, not creating new highs yet. But oh my god, this one here, I'm really excited for when this one lets loose. I think we're going to go up to $1 pretty fast. Next, ARK. ARK is actually showing some weakness in the market here over the last little while. Probably because it's just a smaller cap coin. If you remember, where's my coin market cap? Let's get this over here because I need that. All right, and ARK. So yeah, ARK is a much smaller cap coin, not entirely diluted. It's not too bad. It's pretty good. But because it's not fully diluted, we are going to see a little bit more volatility on the charts. And so that's probably what we're seeing here. Finding a new support, likely. Look at how this area here provided some major price action. So likely to have some support here and continuing upwards. Link. Go to the, yeah. Link is actually showing some great strength, coming back up. More strength than ARK. That doesn't really mean much. I mean, it could be that, you know, Link has got a better, you know, maybe some more. Let's go see here. Yeah, so it's a little bit larger market cap. Ah, but look at that. It's actually not as diluted. So we might be seeing that be the reason why we have more volatility as well, simply because of how much less saturated it is. DEAI. Ah, that one's just been hanging out since the big drop. Not really doing much. WorldCoin, new highs. That's a good sign, but we are seeing some resistance. So there's a little bit of resistance here at the $3.10 level. Yeah, and that's okay. Next, Neural. This is one of the newer ones that I'm in. I got this. When did I start this one? Yeah, end of November. Mid-November, 19th of November. This one here, I'm looking forward to this because this one, the reason why I'm in this is it's, let's go. Oh, no, that's not, definitely not it. There we go. Yeah, mid-market cap here, 153 million. And, you know, it has very little history with this here as that kind of basically that first big pump. You know, we had this big 3x, right? Here, it went 5x to this point, but then now it's gone another 3x since that level. This is great sign, especially for a new project. No big dumps. This is doing really well. So Neural is really strong. PAL. I think I saw that PAL dropped a little bit. Yeah, PAL dropped a little bit, coming back to my entry point, actually. That's what this purple versus tan is. So this tan part here is where my trade is in profit, and this purple part here is where my trade would be in drawdown. So we're basically just above my entry point right now. FAR, that's a pretty good drop, eh? 40% drop from the previous high. But that's the kind of thing that we're going to see with these coins that are, you know, a penny to 2 pennies. Gala, same idea here. We're at 5 cents. From the high that was recently formed, we're down 40%, but now already bouncing back. How much? Already bounced back 26%. So it's not going to take long for this to recover. Especially now that we're seeing like just how many wallets are coming back online, just from that dip, right? That dip caused a bunch of people to come out, but you know already we're seeing the institutions come back in. So that's shows us that we're still bullish. Superverse, yeah, been rallying since the drop, and then Cpool, yeah, also good position. Sundog. The most embarrassing trade I've made, definitely in this cycle. way up here. Like literally bought it at the high, just below. Bonk. Uh, what's going on? There we go. And bonk. Yeah, look. Yeah, that dip definitely took out 30%, but it's already come back for 15%. And then NPC, this one here is just bouncing down here. Look at how while it's bouncing off of this off of this entire pivot zone. Lots of price action in here, and so we could see a few more jumps. But as you notice, the lows are getting lower and the highs stayed put. In fact, this high here is higher than the previous high. So with that divergence, we're likely to see major movements show up soon. So there we go. I wanted to run through that real quick because I want to open it up to Q&A. And I also want to, as we go on, I might be reminded of some of the news that I've seen lately. One of the things that's really big this week is the predictive programming coming out about AI. And I say predictive programming because that's exactly what it is. People are getting told by the media that AI is getting more and more powerful. And in fact, it was interesting to watch as the CEO of Google and Alphabet came out talking about their new AI program that's called Willow, and how it utilizes quantum computing and has, I think it was 13 qubits or something like that. And the higher the number of qubits, the more errors come into play because you're dealing with quantum shift. Well, those errors get compensated by this new AI that Google has built, and now their computations are a lot faster. In fact, they were able to compute in less than 5 seconds, something that, the next best supercomputer, it takes 10 septillion years to calculate. So longer than we have record. There's always debate on how long this Earth has been around. I get that. But longer than the Earth has been around is how long it would take for the next best computer to calculate something that Willow can do in under 5 minutes. Now, that garnered a lot of attention, especially within the crypto world. In fact, a lot of enthusiasts are now scared of their crypto keys because how many computations does it take for a quantum computer to crack the code and get your key? Because all it takes is just, let's figure out the keys. So 24 word key phrase. The chances of you guessing it are, I think I saw that was like, well, I knew it was like 10 to the power 26 is what the chances of someone guessing a key. 10 to the power of 26. That's 10 with 26 zeros. That's the odds of guessing a key, an accurate one. And so the likelihood is very low. And so this news came out from Google, and people got pretty upset. Now their keys aren't safe. But if you do the math, Willow still can't do anything about that. It would actually take over 100,000 Willows to be able to crack a Bitcoin wallet key phrase. And it would still take a long time. I think it was something like, I think it was like a week or something like that. And it needs to be 100,000 of them. Well, they just finished developing one for like $4 billion. So they've got a ways to go before they have the capacity to do that. And in fact, because of the way computer chips are developed now, they're likely not going to stack Willows on top of each other until those new computer chips are out. So we at least have another 2-3 years before AI with quantum computing has the capacity to start cracking wallets. But here's the thing. Cardano and Injective, a lot of these newer coins that are coming out on layer 1, they're not like AVAX. Their computations are so much more complex because it's newer technology. We've always known Bitcoin was never going to stick around. I mean, people thought that it was going to stick around forever, and it's going to be around for a while, I would say. But I mean, it's an old technology, so it'll probably be the first one to get cracked. But it's going to be a while before that happens, and we got time. So, but the predictive programming comes into play because you can already tell people are concerned about the pop of the cryptos because it's going to be a cyber attack from AI using quantum computers. It's going to take everybody's keys and nobody's going to have anything. Yeah, that could very well happen. They have the capacity to do that, but not because of AI. All they got to do is just delist it from all the exchanges and stop you from being able to exchange it back. That's all they got to do to make it work. So well, I should say there are other things that there are other ways that you can still move your Bitcoin out, but that's how they would make it where Bitcoin would become less valuable is just stop delisting it, right? So, of course, also there is the whole AI bubble, right? The public are being absolutely fleeced right now by the AI bubble, and that's why we're here is to profit from that because that's how it works. So, yeah, that's the kind of news that we're seeing happen right now. A bunch of other stuff is available, but I'm going to open it up here. You guys chat for a bit. Ask questions if you want. So there's an asset that you're looking at, or if you're looking for um, a entry point, let me know. You can unmute yourself.
No real questions, I guess,
Okay.
that come to mind. Just the spreadsheet, right? We're gonna go
Mhm.
through that a little bit.
Yeah, Jennifer, have you opened up that spreadsheet yet?
I haven't yet, but it was so funny because the day that you sent that out, I was literally just thinking about, I need to track this stuff. And I saw it. I was like, oh, I was on it.
Yeah, yeah,
Awesome.
I got it. And realizing, this is going to be an evolving spreadsheet because, especially as we get closer, we're going to have to do other things with this spreadsheet other than just track when we buy. We also have to track when we sell.
Right.
And so that's going to be as I make updates to that spreadsheet, I'm just going to do it live to mine. And like it's not all the money I have, so I got to be less attached to hiding my balances on publicly. So I'm just going to make my spreadsheet that I use as the master template because as I make these updates to my spreadsheet, you'll want to be able to refer back to it, copy fields and formulas, and paste them into your own to update your spreadsheet to be current with the new calculations. But yeah, definitely, if you need help with that, let me know. Oh, and uh, we need to talk. Jennifer, you and I need to talk. When can we meet up?
Um, Tomorrow?
Oh, you know what? We're live. Hang on. I'm going to end the live.